Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Lili Nishmas Imi Merossi Rusbis Mordechai from Shalom Y. Felder. My good friend, who's the nephew of Zorach Spira, sent me this picture of his uncle in middle of the family Hanukkah party, learning the daf in preparation for his nightly Pesach Shir. His 9-year-old David, great fan of MDY and recruiter as well, was watching along with him. All the best, Shalom You the Felder, Cleveland, Ohio. It's a very beautiful picture. Mom, it's a schmack picture. You see this picture, Nachman? Take a look. It's unbelievable. Rabbi say these are the new people who gave on Hanukkah. Went ahead and gave $1 a day for the next at least 365 days. Yitzchak Landau, Yossi Greenswhite, Ari Fish, anonymous from Lakewood, Solomon Leitner, at least Eitan Weinberg, Howard Hahn, Chaim Wisentowski, Isaac Held, Michael Dow, Paul Lowinger, Yershkoyach, Tiskele Mitzvahs. It should be a schus for the whole year. Dear Belly, I don't know how many diktuk people have already mentioned this, but I thought you should point it out, that hopefully you read it. Moses Shabbos, he mentioned the correct pronunciation at the end of the word Eloika with a mapikei, which we say in Hallel. Somebody, Saul Goldstein wrote to me, you don't say Noicha, you say Noyach. So you don't say Eloika, say Eloika. It's not ha. Anyway, he wanted to say, I love these diktuk people, mamish, I love this stuff. However, this word is read mila'el, meaning it has to be Eloi, not Eloya. So if you do it Eloi, then you can't even put the emphasis at the end of the word, is what he's saying. This is your brother, Leiby's brother, Aaron Chaim David, son of MDY Rich Chabura from Manchester, brother of Leiby. Oh, I have to say that the charge in the last few days have been excellent, makes the shir much smoother. Rebelli, I heard the distress signal from RBS. I was alerted by a few people from around the globe. Just to let you know, I'm still here, keeping strong. I'm already past the 2-year daf anniversary, 830 daf since Mesechus Rosh Hashanah. So good to have you back. The people of RBS, don't let the mistakes, and people from the RBS, don't let the mistakes slip through. Bez Hashem, I'll be back in person soon. Shapsi Cohen, Beitar, family, Sandhouse. It says at the end, please don't say my name. So I won't say his name. Dear Rebelli Shlita, I joined in Soita, but I've only emailed you as I want you to give a shout out to Shmuli Grosberger, a 13-year-old boy who has now been doing the daf since the middle of Nedarim for a year now and has finished 4 mesechtas with you and has even signed up a couple of his friends from his school. Thanks for being such a great Magid Shir. And Rabbi Sai, a few people, including Benny, but over here, this is a beautiful letter from Shlomi Forcham, who sits over there every single day. A young bacher who comes every day. Here he is. For years already. How long are you doing the daf? From Tainus. When was the last time you got to get over here? You want to get over here? Get over here. So it says like this, Dear Belly, just something small to express my appreciation for all the time and effort you put into the shir every day. Shir is always so interesting, full of life. What for sure helps understand the sugya and remember it. I don't think I'll ever be able to thank you enough. What you and MDY did to my learning is well and beyond. I wish you only happiness and health. Happy Hanukkah. P.S. This week you spoke about saying a good word, so I added a paragraph. Kitzer gave me a beautiful package of fancy suganiyot, and he wrote a beautiful story over there, Shlomi Forcham, Shkoyach. And you go to Yeshiva every day, all day. But you start off your day with a daf and shachris. He's one of the big chazanim here in the morning. Yishkoyach Shlomi, you should go, we should finish Shas together. People are jealous of you in Yeshiva, you know, you have all these ideas.
They want you to start saying shir in Hebrew.
You want me to start saying shir in Hebrew? Ooh.
You don't know how I like
nice.
That's actually really good.
Did you hear something? What, you heard something? Machayre Paraguay? Bacher one. It's not Bacher one. And if I say a shir in Hebrew, they'll come? Okay, let's see. Let's see. It's a Simon Hashemayim. MDY Moifis.
About 9 months later, the shir started.
What they're saying, last night we had a meeting here, 10 people, whether or not I should start saying a shir in Hebrew or not. And here comes Shlomi Forcham, and he says they want you to say a shir in Hebrew, and he had no idea about this meeting. Kiss from Hashem. The Masechta is sponsored for the unity of Am Yisrael. Parsa Chodesh, the last day, Rabbi said, the last day. Everybody say, Amen. Hatzlocha L'zechus Yosef Mayer ben Rochel and yidden worldwide. Shkoyach Mendel. I'll say it again. Hatzlocha L'zechus Yosef Mayer ben Rochel. Amen. And yidden worldwide. Leilo Nishmat Chaneh bar Elimelech. Parsa Chodesh, the third one. Leilo Nishmat Mendel ben Pinchas. Leilo Nishmas Zechrya ben Moshe. Leilo Nishmas Zechrya bas Yosef. Parsa Shavua. Refוא Shleim for Debod Dvora Basara and Hatzlacha to all those who say Vayechulu with kavana. Yossi Rosner, the Gemara we learned. I'm just thinking this now. The Gemara we learned that if you do a mitzvah with the B'nai Slide, the one who did it first, so she was zoicha that her kid was Yishai 4 generations before Rechavim, right? Who was it?
Yeah, Nechama.
4. So when you jump into the thing first, you have kavana vayechulu, so you win tens of thousands of shekel. You do it next week, it's in the lav dafka. You got to chapara, you got to jump in right away. But try it. You'll let me know. Next person should do it. L'refוא shleim of Debod Dvora Basara. Forget Parnasa. The Parnasa Yoim, Yossi Rosner, Yahrzeit of my father, Hi Rosner, Chaim ben Isaac, 28th of Kislev. Parnasa Yoim, Lili Nishmas, Nechama bas Kolev by her grandson, Yakov Klein from Baltimore. The Sham should have an aliyah. The heart of the month, Yosef Mayer, sorry for all the schuzim that come from supporting Libanat Torah. Rabbi said we have to do a little bit of chazara here. It's like 10 minutes or less to finish off the sugya. Then we go into a lot of easy sugyas, geshmaka stuff on Daf Mem. But we're in the middle of a sugya, so if you want, you can look at these charts. I made it very, very simple. It's a nice review of what we learned yesterday. Hold on. I got you. Don't worry about it. Okay. Yesterday we had the Shita of Rabbi Yaakov. He started off a little rough. It was very not understood what he said. He said, Torah Bonan, Shar Cheresh Shaidav Katan, the bull of a Cheresh, somebody doesn't have full capacity, Shenogach, who gored, and then we're not going to go into it, but basically he said, Rabbi Yaakov Mishalim. Rabbi Yaakov has to pay, and the Gemara says, why would he? Oh, no. What he meant to say is, Yaakov Oimer Mishalim Chatzi Nezek, he pays half a Nezek. We had 3 pshatim yesterday. The Talmud Rebbe says it's a visualization. You have to visualize, so you visualize it. That's why he said the wrong lashon. Another pshat was that even a mistake makes it into the Gemara. It's Torah. Another pshat is that when people did chazara, they chazared it with the mistake. So even when they fix the mistake, you have to continue with the mistake. So we know where we're holding. Okay. I saw there's a sefer Shomer Emunim HaKadmoi, not the Shomer Emunim, the Rebbe, Shomer Emunim that lived in the 1600s. And he writes that this Gemara is Kabbalah. Okay, that's what he writes. Al Kapon, we're not going into that. Point is, Rabbi Yaakov says that if the shor of a Cheresh Shaidav Katan causes damage, he pays half a nezek. Ask the Gemara, why do you have to say you pay half a nezek? Just say the word Mishalim or Mechayiv. Mimanav Sham. If it's a tam, everybody knows, every kid in Cheder knows that a tam pays half. So why do you have to say Chatzi Nezek? If it's a muad never pays half. A muad pays the whole. So what's going on here? Why does he have to say Mishah? Shar Cheshire Garden? Either one Mandam says doesn't pay, and Rabbi Yaakov says you pay. So check this out. We have Rava. Rava says no. We're talking about a muad. It's a big chiddush. There's a muad that only pays half. Why? Because he did a shmir pchusa, and it goes these 3 halachas that we say here. That he did a shmira pchusa. It's very interesting. If you do a basic shmira that only works on a muad, it doesn't work on a tam. Tam, you have to do a shmir mu'ula, says Rabbi Yehuda. So we're talking about a muad. And he did a shmira pchusa. But every muad is a tam. So for the tam, you have to pay the 50. For the muad, you did a great shmira for a muad. You don't have to pay anything for the muad part. You have to split this animal in half. Half of it is a muad, you did a great shmira, you close the door behind it. For the tam, the 50% that's tam, you didn't do a good shmira. So you have to pay for the tam. No, but we're talking about a cheresh sheidav katan. Yeah, you give a apitropos, and you have to pay from the body of this muad 50% for the tam. Says Rabbi Yaakov, listen to this. Mishalim chatzi nezek, huge chiddush. It's a muad who pays 50%. What do you ask me? It's a chiddush. What's the chiddush? It's a massive chiddush. If I would have asked you, give me an example. It's a riddle. Give me an example of a muad who only pays half, 50%. It's a big chiddush. Here's a muad that pays 50% like a tam. Why? Because we view this bull as 2 pieces. Okay. Then Oh no, that's psukim. That's why I mentioned yesterday. There's a cost of no svars. We'll get to it eventually.
He did shmir over there?
He did shmir pchusa. Pchusa means, as Rashi explained, a very good shmira. He closed the door. It wasn't in a metal safe.
So why does he have anything on the tongue? Why is that guy?
Because that's shir. Because for a time you need much more. Why? Because there's a kasa. That's it. Says Abaya, yes, we're talking about a muad. But we're talking about a muad that he didn't watch him at all. Why? Because Abaya doesn't hold of these three things. He holds some of them, but he doesn't hold that you take migufay. So what's going on here? So fakert. Mamish, the opposite of what Rava says. You have a bowl that you split down the middle. The part that's a muad, you have to pay for. Why? He didn't watch him at all. He didn't even close the door. So you have to pay. For the part that's a time you can pay, because I don't hold like Rabbanan. X. I don't hold that you could collect from a tam. There's no collecting from a tam. So that 50% is gone. The 50% that's a muad, then pay for the 50% of the muad, which is also a massive chiddush. Yeah? It's a big chiddush. I have a muad that you pay only 50% instead of a full percent. So we're holding on the bottom. It's a great chazar, no? On the bottom, 3 lines from the bottom of Lamates on the base. According to Abayah, it says Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Yehuda argue. You see, one of them is an ex. Rabbi Shimon Shalom Aleichem, I was thinking about yesterday. When I saw Akiva, of course. I was like, where's the father? You were here yesterday? Okay, welcome back. So, Bishloima la Abayah domar pligi. This is very simple, Rabbi. So we're going to... and. According to Abayah, there's a machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yaakov. They're not in agreement, all those three things. There's an X on one of them. Therefore, it makes sense that we're talking about a muad. But according to Rava, there's no machlokes. I don't understand, says the Gemara. What forced Rava to say we're talking about a muad? Say it's talking about a tam. It doesn't tam come before a muad. Every bull has to become a tam, then a muad. Why did Rava jump to a case of muad? What did he gain by that? Why? And the Gemara explains very nicely. Because, let's say it's a case, like we said before, even a Rava said it. It's talking about a case that he did a decent watching shmira, and he didn't do a very, very good one. A decent one, a medium one, that Ruach Mitsuya doesn't knock down the door. Or, either Yaakov, you didn't do anything. This is just part of the question. If you do a basic shmira according to Elazar Yaakov, you're potter. So we're talking about he didn't do a shmira at all. No. So if it's a tam and he didn't do a shmira, so we go back to the original question. If it's a tam, why in the world did Rabbi Yaakov say Misham Chatzi Nezik? Everybody knows that a tam pays half a nezik. Just say chayiv. No, I can't just say chayiv. Why? That's a massive chiddush. We have a shayla whether or not you could actually collect from a tam when it's owned by a deranged person. Chiddush is yes, you could go and grab money from him. Mishalem chatzi nezek migufoy. So the question is, Nechama, according to Rava, why are you talking about a muad? Say we're talking about a tam. Because a muad has major chidushim. Look at the chart. Basically, Gemara is saying in a muad you have more chidushim. Because once it's a muad, then you have the chiddush of tzatam has been koimei medis. I'm coming to tell you a massive chiddush. That there's something called a muad, but we view it as 50-50. It's half muad, half tam. Every muad. That I'm telling you by saying that we're talking about a muad. I'm also going to tell you that muad is enough to watch it with the shmir pchusa. That's a massive chiddush. Nobody understands it here. What's the logic? That you should be able to watch a tam less than you watch an animal that's known to kill other people? I know that he kills a lot of people. It's good. Just put it in a regular, one of those flimsy doors. An animal that never killed anybody, you got to lock him up like you lock up a lion in a zoo. That's a massive chiddush. Those two chiddushim, enough. That's why I said it's talking about a muad. The third chiddush is also there. The Mamidim Abitrovs, Rashi sticks them all three together. I'm assuming that the Gemara says 2, not 3, because that's already that we already spoke about. That chiddush is there. Mamidim Abitrovs tam ligvus megufay. or maybe 3 equals 2, whatever. The point is we have these 3 chidushim when you say muad. Great. Right, that's what I just said. Like we had this chidush before. Fine. Ravina Omar, again, before we said we have Rabbi Yaakov who says that you pay, and then we said Rava says he agrees to Rabbi Yehuda. You see, he agrees with Rabbi Yehuda like this. Abai says no. There's a machlokes between Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Yehuda. What was the machlokes? Whether or not we put apitropos, the bottom one. Mamid apitropos, not mamid. Machlokes between Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Yehuda. Ravina Amar, yes, this is machlokes between Rabbi Yaakov and Rabbi Yehuda, but it's different. And this is we're very familiar with this. Rishus, Mishana, Ikebinayu. Does the status of a muad go down? Does it drop to the original? Do we restart the clock when it changes ownership? Keep going to have a muad. It was a muad. They changed their status. They became normal. They became older. Meaning, once it's a muad, it's always a muad. So Rashi says something incredible over here. Think about it for a second. You have a muad, but we view the muad as chatzi tam, chatzi muad, right? Tam tzat tamas b'mekoyma imedas. So how do you take money from this bull? Very good. You split it down the middle. Half megufay, half ma'aliyah. The bull caused $100,000 damage. Well, 50% of the animal is only worth $1,000. So he takes $500 because that's all you get is half of tam, or he's going to tell me $1,000, whatever. But you take the lower amount, and for the $100,000, half of that, $50,000 he has to pay from his cash because half of it is a muad, half is a tam. Okay. Rabbi Yaakov Sovar Rishus Mishana, and therefore Rabbi Yaakov holds it was a muad. But now that this cheresh started hearing and speaking, he became a regular human being, then it became a tam again. And therefore you pay like a tam, which is chatzi nezek. A boy say, brand new sugya, much easier. We're going forward here. I would say yes. No, I'm saying you have to go through the whole process again. Once it's a tam, it's a tam. No one wants to know if he becomes a shaita again. Does he jump right back to the mood that he was yesterday? Or since he became a tam, you have to go through the whole process? I don't know. It seems like you'd have to go through the whole process. Once he's changed his status, he can't just jump back to another status. The Apitrobus who takes care of the shaita has to pay from his own pocket, we said yesterday. He's going to get compensated, but right now he has to pay from his pocket. But what happens if the bull kills somebody? Rabbi says the pasuk, Im koifer yushal salav. That is, any bull that kills a human being, or any animal that kills a human being, you have to pay koifer. You have to pay the value of, this is a shayla machlokes, of something, of either the person that died or the person that killed, the owner. And it says, v'nosam pidyon nafshay. Think about what it says here. This money is a pidyon. You know, you go to the Rebbe, you get a pidyon. What's a pidyon?
You give him a pidyon.
You give what?
You give him a pidyon.
I said get?
Yeah.
You give. I guess you haven't been by Rebbe.
No, I guess nobody ever gave me a pidyon. Okay, no, I'm kidding. I thought I said give. Yeah, you give a Rebbe a pidyon. I think I gave once to Rabbi David. Okay, fine. You give a pidyon. What does that mean? You're trying to redeem your soul. Your soul, your nefesh, your neshama did an aveira. It killed somebody. It's oy vavoy. You chayiv misa, whatever it is. So you give money, and that it's like doing kaparas. You know, $1 a day, says Benny. That's not enough for real koy. You want a real koy for? Okay, depends on the aveiras. Abitropos misham ben aliyah ve'im misham koifer. Now this Abitropos, he's not the real owner. He's doing Bezin a favor, whatever it is. So when this bull goes ahead, and he doesn't need a kapara, it's not him.
Well, it's his fault.
Okay, I hear, they talk about it. Mantana, so this is machlokes. Kufru kapara is, do we literally learn, pidyon nafshoy, that it comes as a kapara? The money is there just to give you tshuva, kapara. The yasmelav b'nei kapara ninu, we're talking about youngsters that are below the age of 13. They're not chayiv anyways, they don't need tshuva. And memela, that's what it goes like. Says the machlokes, how much money do you have to give? Each person is different. So it goes by the value of the human being. We evaluate it on a slave market. How much is this big, strong guy that works out every day versus, let's say the owner of the shar is an old man. Doctor tell him he has 1 week to live. Put him on the market for a slave market. Maybe you'd have to pay the guy to take you. I don't know. Whatever. Let's call it $25. He's worth $25. $50. Yeah, good geschmacka, 25-year-old slave. He's worth $10,000. So he has to give the amount of, I don't know, doesn't say exactly in the Torah what, so we have a machlokes. The main nizuk, the person that died, he's worth $10,000. Rabbi Yishmael ben Mazik, no, the guy that damaged. Now think about the logic here. If it's to redeem your nefesh, your soul, what would we base it on? Yourself or the guy that was killed? Yourself. You have to redeem your nefesh. How much is your nefesh worth? $25, $50, it's about to expire. My Rabbanon Savri, Rabbanon will say, they go by the Nizik Savri Kufra Mamaynahu. It goes because how much damage did you cause? You killed this big working out guy. He's worth $10,000 on the slave market. So pay $10,000. It goes by mammon. How much money you owe? It goes, why do you go by the mazik, the one that did the damage? Because you're trying to get a tshuva. You're trying to redeem yourself. Redeem yourself, so it's yourself. Now it has nothing to do with who you killed. Omar Papa Loi, no, that's not the machlokes here. The kulam kufr kaparu, maybe perhaps everybody agrees. It's one of the classic Gemara. We're not saying that's how it is. He's saying maybe that's you can't force it. Maybe everybody agrees that kufr kapara, the kofer that you pay over here, is to redeem your nefesh. What is the svar of the machlokes? Rabbanan Savri b'dinizik shaminan, Rabbi Shmuel ben Aisha b'yachim b'roga, so b'din mazik shaminan. That has nothing to do with kapara or mammon. It's just a question. How do we evaluate it? Do we go by the person that caused the damage or a person that was damaged? The Gemara is going to go into the svara here. My time of the Rabbana. It doesn't make any sense to base it on who got damaged. If you're telling me that it's a damage, you're paying damages, so then you have to look at the person that was damaged. But what's the svara? What logical svara can you possibly say that you would base it on the guy that was damaged? Now, if you want to go in time of the Kra, they say, I think we're going to learn this, is that, yeah, because the more that the nizik is worth, the more kapari you need. Yeah? I mean, I don't want to get into this, and it's probably not accurate, but let's say a guy that's only going to live another 5 minutes. So how much damage did you cause? You caused like 5 minutes worth of life. How many Ameins and Shema Yisraels could this person say? Okay, so you give him that amount. A guy that has a full potential, his whole life is in front of him. So even if you're going to go on that basis, maybe there's a time of the crow over here. You have to go based on, okay, fine. You go on based on the nizik. Alcohol part of the Gemara says, no, we have here a classic Zerah Shava. It says, look at these two psukim. Pasuk in Perek Chof Aleph, Pasuk Chof Beis, it says, when it's regarding somebody that causes a woman to miscarry, she's trying to say, yeah, Onish Yonish Kasher Yoshes Olav. Uses the Lashon Yoshes. And over here, but in our sugya, by a bull that kills somebody, Yushas. So the Gemara calls it, Zerah Shava, Nemro Shisa Lamata v'Nemro Shisa Lamala. Use the Lashon of Yoshes, Yushas. That's Zerah Shava. Malalon, just like by a woman, the nizuk, you go by how much the baby was worth. Avka b'the nizuk, or the mother, you go by the nizuk. It doesn't go by logic, says the Gemara. It's Zerah Sakasav, Zerah Shava Shalom Yisrael. Very Bishmal ben Aisha b'yachim b'roka sovar. It's based on the person's soul, on his nefesh, so it goes on yourself, on the mazik, not on the nizuk. Rabbanon ain't pidyon nafshik, yeah, in pidyon nafshik siv, miyuk yishaminam b'the nizuk shaminam. What's the connection? Yes, we're here to make you do tshuva. How? I'm going to base it on a guy that lives across the street. What's the difference? The Torah says you're going to base it on the nizuk. Why? Because I'm trying to redeem your soul. No shaykhs. That's how the Torah said it. We're not doing something physical here. We're doing a tshuva. How do you do tshuva? You go to the Rebbe. The Rebbe says you have to do tshuva. Give 10 times the chveisvas. Okay, that's what the Torah picked. You go based on the nizik, not because you damage the nizik. No, you damage your own neshama, and you have to redeem your neshama. How much to pay based on the nizik? New sugi, Rabbi Yisai. Gavaldik. Mishabech le Rava le Rav Nachman. We know throughout Shas, Rava was Rav Nachman's Talmud. Rava tells Rav Nachman Rebbe, you're not going to believe this. This is a Talmud Chacham, unbelievable, like the Belzer, Lahavdil. There's a tremendous Talmud Chacham. His name is Rav Acha Bar Yaakov Dodom Gadolu. Somebody called Rav Acha Bar Yaakov Rebbe. You should get to know him. He's unbelievable. Chavetz Chaim says that this is considered avak lashon hara. Typically, to tell anybody this guy's a great guy, what's the first response the guy says? No, he's great. Like, it just reminds me, talking about no be'emes. I just thought that when after I did the feher on the Shas Yidden, so a lot of the guys went over to the Belzer because he's in Shas Yidden. He said, "We didn't know that your Rochel guy from the Kolev, the guy with the shaved guy from MDY, he knows Kol Kula like that." So the Belzer very cleverly told him. He says, "No, you should see Chulin. He's very weakened, very very weak in Chulin. Like people like to let them think that I know Kol Kula besides Chulin. I'll come on, but that's normal. It's a normal reaction. Yeah, he's excellent, but you should know he's a little shvach and svara. You know, this guy knows Kol yeah, but he's a shvach lamden. That's the norm. That's right away. That's what you say. Okay, fine. Yeah, he's the balavera, whatever. You try to knock the guy immediately. So that's why you're not allowed to tell somebody's chashiv. We're talking about two gdolim over here. It's different. So Rav Nachman tells Rava, when he comes to you, make sure you bring him. I want to meet this big Talmud Chacham we're talking about. So Rav Acha Bar Yaakov shows up to Rav Nachman one day. It seems like Rav Nachman tells the guest, Rav Acha Bar Yaakov, ask me anything. I'm ready for a question. He's testing him. And so I guess instead of insulting him, a lot of times in Shas, they ask the guy. They ask the Talmud. And you call yourself a chashiv guy. Rav, what are you talking about? This guy doesn't know. You ask me. Okay. So he asked him, this is a gewaltige shaila here, benageh to koifer. We have a partnership in a bull, and the bull goes out and kills. If a bull, says Rashi, damages somebody else, a bull of a partnership damages somebody else, so how do you pay that guy? I pay 50, you pay 50%, and the guy gets 100%. But over here we're talking about to redeem your nefesh. Maybe to redeem my nefesh, I have to pay 100%, and you have to pay 100%. But that's not fair. Now he gets 200%. How could that work? That's not what the Gemara is saying, but something along those lines. Each one pays 100%. The Torah says just pay once. So what are you going to do? So each one give half of the koifer. The value of the guy they killed is $10,000. Each one pays $5,000. Together you have 10,000. You have to do tshuva. You have to redeem yourself. You have to pay the whole thing. It's not going to be enough for you to give half. Rav Nachman is kind of stuck. He says, "Oh, it's interesting, Shai. Let me think about it." Starts thinking. Says Rav Acha Bar Yaakov, let me ask you another question. So we know Erchin is, the Torah says that each person, whether the Zachar and the Keva, I couldn't find the new one. Yossi did a much nicer one. This is an old chart. This is from Erchin. Sorry, I apologize. I couldn't get hold of Yossi at 3 a.m, so I threw this in. Each person has a certain amount, a certain value. So if a person says, the erech of a girl who is between 5 and 20 is on me, so she has to pay 10 shekel. You go on the list, 520, girl, 10. So it says like this, if a person says such a thing, Bezin goes, they see that this guy is, he's not known to pay up his pledges and shul. They go, they grab something, they chop something from him. If somebody's mechal Shabbos by mistake, and has to bring a chatos, you don't. So the Gemara is going to explain why. So what if a person's ox killed somebody? It's like a chatas in a asham, so you don't have to go grab stuff from him. Why? A person is very serious about his averis. He wants to get rid of his averis. Don't worry about it. He'll bring the chatas when he needs to bring a chatas. You have it. I don't know about you. I was thinking about you, Noam, but I know, like here in Israel for sure. If I go to an Esrik store and the guy's selling a srogim, and I see the says, I'm not sure I want to buy it. So I tell the guy, listen, could I take this to the Rav for 25 minutes? No problem. You also, no problem. He might steal it. No, because you can't be yoitze with the stolen esrog, right? Nobody says no problem in the jewelry store, no problem. Sometimes, depends. You have to give him mashkin. Not with this right. Why? Because it's chomer. I'm not worried. We don't have to waste Bezin's time with the guy that's chai v'chatas. He'll bring his chatas. He knows what's good for him. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure it's happened. People forget to bring it back. Okay.
Somebody in that situation still wants to do the next.
No, most of the time they forget, I'm thinking. Nobody's going to steal a mitzvah. Oh, and if he right. So what happens if he damages it? No, he's asking you, what if he damages it? What if he comes back and the pitim is missing? You let it go. Okay, it's part of business. Rabbi Yossi fix his regime in Queens. So now he asks him the second question. Oh, since I have to give it to my friend, it's money that goes to my buddy, not Takosh Baruch Hu. Vergit nicht, right? In Yiddish, vergit nicht. What? The famous Maisa in Brisk, a guy came to the Briskerov. I think it was the Briskerov. He says, "What's the halach in this bull, in this cow I just shechted, $2,000 cow?" He takes a look. He says, "Treif, throw it out." Okay, no problem. He goes to the next week. The same butcher comes to the Briskerov. Says, "My neighbor, this, that." The Briskerov says, "You owe your neighbor $20." He says, "20? No way! I'm not going to pay this guy." So the Briskerov says, "I don't understand. When I told you lost $2,000, this is the same Torah, the same Rav, same Psak. When I tell you have to pay $20 to your neighbor, you go home with sugar and you start telling me I don't know what I'm talking about and the Rav made a mistake, look at it again. But you forget, you don't forget. Forgetness when it comes. What it says over here, oh, maybe I have to give to my friend. Yeah, the Torah says you should give to the friend. You damage your friend, you pay him. No, that's different. That's different than a chatos. Chatos is to Hashem. I don't have to worry. So maybe kofer also, I have to worry about it. I have to worry. By the way, real quick, because Mom is running late. Rav Shimon ben Time also lived about 400 years ago. He's very close to the king. And the king asked him, if you, Klal Yisrael, you do so many mitzvahs, you learn so much Torah, tefillah, the whole thing, how come your Mashiach doesn't come? He says, I'll tell you why. Because we don't have the proper bin adam chavera. We're mizalzel in the other one. We don't forgive each other. So the king says, I don't believe it. Anyway, long story short, that the king once, it was start to rain, he was in a forest, he had to take off his big kuna to go through a river. And he saw a light, he knocked on the door, nobody's opening up, a Jew opened up for him. And the Jew didn't recognize him, the Jew said, come in, and gave him, the wife was all worried. And then the next day, the guy says, you need a ride somewhere? Yeah, take me to this. And he dropped him off next to the palace, and he ran in there and disappeared. The Jew had no idea. And then they called the Jew to the palace, and they said, the king wants you. The king says, you recognize? No, I don't recognize you. He says, I'm the guy that you saved yesterday, you helped me out. What do you want? So the Jew, instead of saying, give me $10 million, the Jew said, listen, the other peddler that competes with me, that other Jew, make sure he doesn't sell on that corner. So the king said, oh, okay, now I have what he's saying. Now I verstehe. Vergiss nicht. Sagt die Gemara. Inami. Huh?
It's not typish. There's other good stuff.
No, sometimes you need this overcome your chachma. Or listen to this, Rabbi, we can say another svara. He didn't sin, his bull sinned. The bull, no, I'm not so worried about my bull sinning. I don't have to pay the kofer. Maybe Bezin should chap because the person's not so careful with this. Says Rav Nachman, enough! Shafkin, leave me alone. You got me good. I'm still thinking about the first question. What are you asking me a second question now? Daruch says, interesting, the stagger means he became sick. Rav Nachman Pasha became sick from thinking about this. And now you want another thing? Real quickly, the famous story, I'll say it anyways because it's a good maisa. There was a kid that was off the derech and his father really wanted him to meet Rav Shteiman. I'm sure you all know the story. Whatever it was, I don't remember if he was marrying somebody he shouldn't be marrying. And he goes to Rav Shteiman and Rav Shteiman spoke to him for a long time and Rav Shteiman was able to convince him. So they asked this boy, when your father tells you to go to Rav Shteiman, that's the last thing that you want to do. Why would you go to Rav Shteiman, to the rabbi? So I'll tell you why. Because when I was in Cheder, Rav Shteiman gave a feher to all the kids in the class. And everybody knew the answer and they all got a candy. When it came to me, I didn't know the answer. So Rav Shteiman asked me a really, really simple question and I still didn't know the answer. So Rav Shteiman gave me 2 candies and he said, in Torah, you get awarded for effort. And you worked, 2 questions, you didn't know, you get 2 candies. And that gave him a great feel, Shalom Aleichem. And over here also, he asked him 2 questions, they didn't know. Fine. You borrow your friend's car, in this case, your friend's bull, and you thought that it's a tam. You thought you have it under control. Even if it damages, you only pay 50%. Turns out, he lied to you. This guy, the shar is really bad. They have to split it. Each one pays 50%. The Gemara is going to explain everything perfectly. What if, without fail, by the way, you want to see a nice dent in your car, you lend your car to somebody. I'm not saying, okay, whatever. Lend your cars. It's no, came out every time. No, sorry, the kid threw up in the back seat. I didn't have time to fix it. It's not a big deal if you, okay, fine. Happened to me also. So you give the guy, you're a nice guy, you give him a tam. Oh, by the way, he killed 3 people yesterday, and from now on you have to pay nezik shalom. You're not makbid, right? And the next day, can I borrow your shar? No, why not? I don't have. Okay. You're such a bad guy. Anyway, who have a shoy v'chzir lebaylam, huh?
Right. Easier spirit.
Who have a shoy v'chzir lebaylam? Baylam mishal chatzinez shoy potem klum. The owner only has to pay half. So what's pshat in this? This goes according to what we said. Rishus Mishana, very good. We're talking about the Rishus goes back and it reverts back to Shayl, and the Shayl has nothing to do with this anymore. Let's explain everything. You borrowed, you thought that it's a tam, but it turns out it was a mud. So, by the way, I have a picture here of Shimshon Wertheimer. And this is a picture of Shteiman. I decided we have to, when we say the names of the Doilan, we should put it in. Okay, it says like this. I'll pay half and you pay half. So he says, why? This is like a text message. Why? I borrowed a bull, not a lion. Yeah, but you knew he's a goring type of bull. Here's a bull, not a lion. True, but I borrowed him as a tam, not a muad. So he tells him, yeah, but either way, you'd pay half for the tam. So pay whatever you had to pay anyway. So he tells him, no, you'd pay from the animal's body. I wouldn't have to pay anything. It comes right out of the body. So he tells him, but you'd still need to pay me back the half that comes out of the body either way. So what kind of answer is that? Fine. But I could have admitted and not paid anything, or I could have let it hide in the lake, in the agam. Okay, that's the back and forth here.
Does a muad have to be declared by based in muad, or is it automatically muad?
Yeah, but with Bavalov. Yeah, you go to Bez and there's the Eidos. Yeah.
So he should have known.
Yeah, but the Gemara, we once learned that there's no kol when it comes to a bull. It's called by karka, not by a bull. Tarabonon, I think that's what we said, no? So, Omar Mar, let's go, we gotta go. I didn't borrow a lion. I thought it's mam shemekach tos, sort of, like whatever you want to call it. I borrowed something that I thought I could control. I put a shoelace around his neck. All of a sudden, the guy's mishuk. He starts killing people and this and that. No, you knew that he's a dangerous bull. You just didn't know it 3 times. So you should tell him, say that, but at the end of the day, I borrowed a tam, and a tam pays half nezek. Okay, fine, you thought it's a tam. So pay what you thought. Anyways, you thought that it pays 50%. So pay that 50% that you thought. No, yeah, but I thought it's a tam, and a tam only pays from its own body. So pay from its own body. Yeah, pay from the body. Yeah, I'll pay from the body, but you're gonna have to refund that body that we took the money from. You were responsible for this bull. Yes, you're gonna take from the bull that doesn't belong to you, it belongs to me, but you're gonna have to reimburse me. Daf Amud Beis. Oh, so what is the chatzi nezek? So if you say chatzi nisko knasa, it's a knas. The halacha is moide knas patur. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell him. That's Yossi 100%. His idea, his everything. So we have here a little bit. We had a much tomorrow. We'll show the rest. Here it is. This is our famous shar. That's part of it. Fine. Huh? I know. Whatever. You don't want to ask Kashas on 3D, a guy that's not 100% Yiddish. I know. It's like it's more like a place that you graze on. It's not so much like swamp. Yeah. Now, he tells him, listen, I could have hit him. I wouldn't have to pay. Let me ask you a question. If you owe somebody money, Hatzlacha, are you allowed to wiggle your way out of it and hide your bull in an agam? Yeah, but how am I allowed to? It's mamish fooling the Torah. Hashem says, pay from his guf, from his body. Oh, I'm going to hide him in a garage. That's not right. The answer is, you're not allowed to do it. And Taisa says, but I could threaten the guy and I can negotiate with the guy and maybe he'll come down a little bit on his price. That's what Taisa says. The turning of the daf, sponsored by Chaneh Averbach and Shira Averbach, in memory of leilo nishmas ben Yom Mayer ben Ze'ev David, my holy nephew, son of Rabbi and Jen Early, and leilo nishmas ben Yom Mayer ben Ze'ev David, Rabbi to remind the Olam, it's Chanukah, and we're doing a shtickle campaign, not the most monthly one, but we're trying to get people to do something monthly, something daily. And remember, people ask me all the time, why does MDY need over $1 million? It's probably because we have 2 artists, we have executive director, we have editor. Because we have a lot of salaries, and we give out tons of Gemaras, and we have different projects and programs, and we have a koilel, and kitzur, it adds up. I don't know why. It adds up. We have this base marriage that we have to take care of, etc. I get paid $900,000 a year. No, I don't. Not one dime. Yes, correct. Elacha says Gemara. We're talking about a case. You don't have any of these excuses. I could have been moida. I could have this. I could have. The Bezin already grabbed. They heard the story. They went. They grabbed your bull. So then, why does the owner have to pay half a nezek? Name He has a good taina. You let Bezin chap it. Now I can't even negotiate with Bezin. So he says, what? If I would have given it back to you, what's your taina? That's by me in my hands? I would have given it to you, and Bezin would have taken it from you. You didn't gain anything. I don't know if there's more text messages here. No? That's it. Okay, fine. I would have brought him to the meadow. At the end of the day, I don't care. We're talking about a muad. So you could hide him wherever you want to hide him. Bezin is going to take money right out of your real estate. Says, but where's the Gemara going with this? Okay, that's the obvious answer. But maybe this guy has nothing. All he has to his life, he's like a guy from Gaza. All he has is like one donkey. He doesn't have real estate, it was bombed. He's left with the chamar. Just like I owe you the owner, I have to pay the nizuk. There's 3 people here. There's the owner, there's the guy that borrowed the bull, and there's the guy that got damaged. So the guy that borrowed the bull says, I don't have to give it back to you, owner. I'm going to give it back to the one that was damaged. Why? Because there's something called Shibud the Rebbe Nassan. We're not going to show any graphic pictures. Big kids are, you guys see this? I'll do it again. I didn't chap that. It's beautiful like this. Here's the Malva. He gave money to the Loiva. And the Loiva lent money to the Rosh Hashiva. So the Malva goes directly to the Rosh Hashiva. He doesn't have to go to the Loiva. In our case, I didn't realize. I just threw this in here. It's not money. I should have put a shard there. If Yossi would have put a shard. There's a nizuk, there's a valbais and a Loiva. So the owner of the bull gave the bull to the Rosh Hashiva, the Loiva, and so therefore the Loiva, the owner of the bull, gives the bull directly to the one that had damage. He doesn't have to worry about the real owner. Why? Because the bull damaged the nizuk, so the nizuk gets the bull at the end. Well, we just showed. That's the next thing. There became a muad. I lent somebody an animal, and he didn't take very good care of it, and he became a muad. And he returned it. It reverts back, as we said, Rishus Mishana. That what? That even though it's a muad, when it goes back to the owner, it turns back into a tam, and he only pays half a nezek. Says the Gemara, Reisha Rishus Ein Mishana. Sefer Rishus Mishana. Reisha, Rishus Einim Shana, when you borrowed the muad, and you thought that it's a tam, it doesn't go back to being a tam. You have to pay 50-50, the Mishnah says. That means it doesn't revert back. So what is it? So the Gemara says 3 tirutzim. Basically, the typical Gemara, one Manoma says, yes, Rishus Mishana, everybody, Reish and Seifa. The other Manoma says, no, it's not Rishus Mishana. And the third teretz is 1 and 1. You have to break this. You're right. Reish and Seifa were written by different Tanoim. One holds Rishus Mishana, one holds not. Rabbi Omar, that's not a good, we don't like that. We like to be consistent. Midrash Rishus, Einim Mishana, Seifa Nami, Rishus Einim Mishana. When once it's a muad, it's always a muad. It doesn't go back both the Reish and Seifa. Why does it go back to being a tam in the Seifa? You don't have the Rishus. You can't take my animal, do something to my animal without my permission. You can't jump into my house and make my animal into a muad. So yes, I lent it to you, but it's still mine. You don't have that right. Rapa the Sefer Rishus Mishan, Reish and Nami, Rishus Mishan, Rapa says the opposite. The whole thing, it reverts back to being a tam. At the end of the day, says Rav Papa, it's still considered, it never went back. You don't have a shinu rishus here. It's considered that person's. You borrow my car, it's my car while you're driving it. It didn't become your car for that day. So Mela, it has one name, it's not a rishus mishana. Sharait Staden Ein Chayev, you want to see Sharait Staden again? Ibaylu. If you have a bull that already killed, we said that you don't kill him. Typically you kill a bull because he was forced to kill. He was trained to kill. Ibaylu. It's a beautiful shaila. What would you say if I asked you, could you take a bull that killed a human being, but he was forced to kill a human being? If you bring it as a carbon, it would seem like it's not a very good idea. Yes, he was forced, but he's a bad bull. He's tainted. He's a bull that killed a human being. Ibaylu, you bring him as a carbon. Rav Amar Kosher, Shmuel Amar Apostle. Machlokes Rav and Shmuel. Rav Amar Kosher, Onusu. It's not his fault. Shmuel Amar Apostle, Hari never boy Avera. Well, at the end of the day, I don't care that it wasn't his fault, but he did an Avera, the worst of the worst, killing a human being. Meisvei. Huh? Yeah, he's not a Chayiv Averos. Yeah, he's like a gun, a bad gun. You can't even bring I was just thinking, you can't even bring metal on the Mizbeach because it's a killer. So this actually killed. Meisvei, look at the pasuk for a second. The second pasuk in Vayikra, Davel b'nei Yisrael v'mataleim Adam ki yakar became carbon l'Hashem. If you bring a carbon, mina behema, mina bakar, min atzayin. You see the min. I made it green. It's not so noticeable from far here, but it's there. That's extra. So we have 4 diyukim. Min habehema lahoitzias harivev sanirva, an animal that had relations with a human being, you cannot bring as a carbon. Min habakar lahoitzias hanevad. An animal that you did avodah zarah, you looked at it, you said, "You are my idol," whatever. You can't bring it as a carbon. Minat tzayid, loitzis amukta. Not only avodah zarah, if you set it aside to be avodah zarah, you're miyachad. Also not. Minat tzayid, loitzis anugeach. Also comes minat tzayid. The vav says that an animal that killed somebody, not what, can't bring it as a carbon. Maybe it's something. That answers our question. Or Shimon never reveya lo menegeach. Explains Rashi. Why didn't you say both? Both have the same exact oynish. They both have skila. So why do I have to say an reveh and a negeh? In emar negeh, lam and reveh. Says the Gemara because this part of the question. You need both. Each one has a chiddush or chumrah. Reveh also by is karatzen. Whether the animal was forced, which usually it is, then you kill it anyways. Negeh, you can't make it a carb. Negeh lo also by is karatzen. But when it comes to killing somebody, then the oinus is not a rotzen. Here, that's what we want, right? This. It's not the same. They have different halachas, the one that was forced and the one that wasn't. The one that killed a human being has to pay the money. And Gemara is going to explain that has to do with Misa. He was Reveh and there's a death over here. So that's why I would think that you have to pay koifer. No, you don't pay koifer. Says the Gemara, now I know why you need both the Reveh and Negeh. The Gemara says, you see that Reveh, yes, Negeh, loy, also by Yonis Keratzin. What do you mean, lav the carbon? Because look at this pasuk Rabbi Isai. What are we talking about over here? We're talking about Adam ki yakriv mikem. It's not like a far-fetched thing. Oh, maybe it's talking about a carbon. The whole pasuk is talking about a carbon. So of course we're talking about l'chayra, oinus and ratzin, going to get the carbon, and it says that's not the same thing. You don't bring an animal that killed somebody on purpose. But if he was forced in the stadium, you could bring it as a carbon. So tzaraya, you could bring it as a carbon. Lo, look tall. No, whether or not you have to kill him, but the carbon, no. Whether it was oinus or ratzin, you can't bring it as a carbon. Why? The carbon. It doesn't say anything about oinus and a ratzin when it comes to a carbon. Elo lav l'ktalo, we're talking about killing the animal or not killing the animal. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. We'll say Shira Malis now together. Shira Malos, Mamakim, Kursicho Adinoi, Shema Bekoili, Tienos Davak Shubois, the Kod Nachunoi, Imavinois, Tishmorio, Adinoi, Miamoid, Kimfas, Ticho, Nemanti Borei, Vis Adinoi, Kisal, Nefshil, Vorechot, Nefshil Adinoi, Vishamim Laboiker, Shimrim Laboiker, Faisrael Adinoi, Adinoi, Chesed, Rabbi Moifidus. Go if that's Israel, so I think go Beis Israel soon Beis Shivyo. When the baby Yavosh, what we have to live in so the Bava my friend should do lo ashto. The glove is back to live. Amen.
Have a wonderful.
The text is very good.